JRF. Hello, everybody. Hello, Jay. Welcome.
Hello. Hello.
I welcome everybody into this space of the introduction of your research team, Joy. And I feel glad to be here because I've been with this spark inside of me to research joy inside of a context of radical responsibility. And I came with that after the Fear Club with Yula, and I invite her to. I make this invitation to her because it was so nourishing, and then I asked when will happen the Joy Club, and we started to exchange in Telegram about that, and having calls, and then emerged this space from this collaboration. And I want to open first a logistics space before we jump into this introduction. And the first logistic that I want to bring to people that arrive now, like now, there is a sound in my background, and I'm doing the experiment to speak a little bit more anger. So I want to make you like that, if it's okay for you to listen me. Okay, super. Sometimes the sound is coming, like the apartment upstairs started to make some building. And as soon as I started to enter in the call with Yula, so I will mute myself when I'm not speaking. And when I'm speaking with the sound, I will bring a little bit more anger to be more clear my voice to you. Do you have another logistic, Yula?
To make that recording and that so that, or at least with those people.
Your audio is cut off, Yulia. Your audio is cut off.
Your audio is cutting off now. Could you try again?
Yes, that the recording will be shared with other people that can't be here. So just so you're aware of that.
Yes, and our session today will have 1 hour of duration, so we end at 9 p.m. set time.
Yeah, so that will be different to the 5 sessions that we'll be having for the research team. They are it will be a 2-hour session each time. Yeah.
And is the research team 2 hours? Is that at the same time of day?
Yes, there will be the same starting time, but then going an hour longer. So every next week.
Is there another logistic in the space? No? Okay, so logistics space closed. And now we jump into this territory of joy. And do you have something impulse to start, Yula?
Well, I want to say also that it's like I've been researching and I've been holding space, and some of you, or at least Gabriela and Alexandra and Jay, you've been part of that journey of holding Rage Club, and right after that going into Fear Club, and right after that into Sadness Club. And I was staying away from Joy Club because, for one, it's like I felt this fear that joy can be taken over by gremlin, and I know that joy comes for free when I'm really going into anger and fear and sadness. And then I was really glad about your invitation, Gabriela, to open up a research about it rather than making it a joy club. So what we're offering is not a joy club, just like anger, rage club, fear club, sadness club, because like what this is really about is being at the cutting edge of the research of how does it really go. And so if you decide to join, it's really about you bringing your own research and going into this radical way of experimenting together and finding out how does it go. Which, yeah. And I find that joy, so I have hello, Stefan, welcome here. Joy is a vast territory, right? And there's a quality in joy that is entirely different from anger, from fear, from sadness. Do you know anything about that? Like, do you know what I'm talking about? If you have an idea, raise your hand a little. Yeah. And at the same time, I've found about joy, it's in my system, it's really quite a mind fuck, in that modern culture says you've got to be happy. Being happy is the high. Where in your own system, where it really, like, there's this undercurrent of, okay, at the end of the day, I want to be happy. Like, it's about being peaceful and happy with each other, so that it might not, like, often you might suppress your sadness or your fear or your anger because it doesn't make sense for you that it's, or for your system, that it's neutral, because at the end of the day, it's about being glad. The mindfuck part of that, in my experience, is that actually, even though that's the mantra, and I have that in me, that I should be glad, there's also this other information that is totally the opposite, that actually, no, don't be too glad. Like, it's really, you're suspicious. If you're too glad, there's really suspicious about you. You're probably onto something, or you're not serious enough, or you're not professional, you're childish. And that is, and that thought where it blocks me from actually feeling joy, or has in the past. And so that is the polar opposites which block the flow of it, and where gremlin can come in, or for most people comes in and makes the joy unconscious so sabotages, so that there has to be some joy, but it cannot be conscious. So that's one part that I'm keen to explore more. How does that really go? That's why one requirement that we have for you to join our research is that you've done some gremlin work, that you have some gremlin transformation experience. Anything about? Oh,
I want to add one more thing about this prerequisite that we are asking about the gremlin transformation and the working with the rage also. It's because this is what gives the basis of working in this conscious joy and researching how this joy can access from your adult ego state. So it's really important, because these different strategies of the gremlin to take it, the joy of food, because the joy is the territory of the gremlin to play in the low drama. So if you're not conscious about the foods of your gremlin, for example, it's really easily during the journey to take the joy as a playground to the gremlin frenzy. And this is not about this space. This space is about researching this conscious joy, and how this can be resourced to your adult life as to creator. So this is the main purpose of this space. And I want to share a little bit more from my side what is most alive, and also how this mindfuck that Yula bring into the space works inside of me. And yeah, like yesterday I was observing how in my family, and one of my friend talking with her, that be happy in mother culture is basically be numb. So like I asked her, what, like, how are you feeling? And she said, I'm happy, and my life is good. And there is this map that Marcos Borg presented to me one day, where there is this state of self-ignorance, where people think that they are okay and that they're fine and the life is good as it is. Like I have my work, I'm have my children, I have apartment, I have my life as it is, and this is super. I'm fine, I'm happy. And then we started to go in this transformational path and evolution path more consciously, because actually all the time we are transforming, but when we do this consciously, it's common people drop into, and in my path I follow in this part of self-cannibalism, where I started to beat up myself and it's not good enough. I'm not there yet. And I'm my gremlin just sabotaged my path with the self cannibalism. Like I need to do more transformation. I need to heal in more. And the place where actually the transformation happens is in between, is in the place where you are not perfect, where this place that I'm not perfect that happened, that is in between the self-ignorance and the self-cannibalism. And what I noticed in this, like from yesterday about this joy, is that most people, when there is, and when I'm the self-ignorance, I have this happiness, this feeling of joy, as a correspondence of this numbness, as this I'm fine. So I'm noticing how it's strong in my system, this software that I'm will arrive in some place where I will be fine and then I will be happy. And and this is like the my main question of researching and going more deep in layers inside of this space also, of what is the benefit of my gremlin keeping this software, that I will arrive in some place and then I will be fine and be happy. And what is this story, is this construct about this happiness that is sell in marketing and like a business. It's like the center of the business is this making people happy. And when you take the distinction that the feelings is neutral information to use in life, joy is this neutral information of using. So how, one of my questions also is how this joy manifests in as this neutral resource, and how can I use it to build a project, to create a team, to be in the archetype of the sovereign. And most of the time inside of possibility management, Clinton said this a lot, that the sovereign is not the best word to speak, because we don't have so much examples. In actually I don't know any example of a sovereign, a queen or king in the real world of modern culture that represent this archetype. So Yula let me know that we are, the impossibility management is using now possibilitator word as this archetype of the joy. So I want to explore like what is the blocks between this, between me and to access this archetype. And yeah, so this is a little bit for me. Yes, Alexandra.
Yeah, and I listen to the archetypal is to some way of holding space. The joy is the holding the space. Yeah.
Yeah, like the space holder, right?
Yeah.
Yes. And yeah, and this is also one thing that I want to bring more question, like how when I'm holding space right now, the joy have been the source of I'm speaking each word that I'm speaking here, and how this expressed through my child ego state also. Like I'm researching how my adult is contaminated with the child, and I just smiling when I'm speaking, for example, just to be nice or to performing, to make a show to you that you accept me. So I play nice, I smiling, I use this joy unconsciously, that is the gremlin, to like, and while I'm speaking here, I'm noticing I navigate between this joy of being with you and this sometimes smiling, to be less attackable by you. Like Some of you I even don't know, like you, Crystal, Jane, Stefan, Jay, Aurora. I never see you before, and like I'm feeling this fear rising inside of me, like, oh my god, and what if some of I'm speaking it's not landing? Then I don't know, then their box, how they will react. And I'm noticing this joy coming, as to try to settle this fear, for example. And yeah, so this is one of the things of during this research team, is like we bring our noticing, our observation through ourselves, is a neutral observation of what's going on, and doing that. And we prepare our experiment to do about that, with this observation. But before, I want to check with you, Yula, if you have another impulse before we jump for the experiment, or someone in the space also.
Yeah. Crystal, do you have something?
Yeah, I wanted to share that I had one experiment that I first did when I was trying to I have a good girl box, and then I was always smiling, and like you said, everything was always, I was fine and happy, and you know, and so one of the first experiments I did was like to not smile for a week, and then it turned into a month. And during that time, my oldest daughter was having we were having a celebration for her first moon. And I remember speaking to my coach, Luisa Franco, and I asked her, like, you know, how can I go here and not be able to smile, because I feel so happy, like, to be doing this for my daughter. And she said, like, the practice was like, you know, to feel the joy, not just limited to my face, and to really feel it like in all my bodies. And I felt so glad to have that experience, because otherwise, you know, I would have been with that mask, kind of like, yes, I'm so happy, but I was really, like you guys said, just holding space, and like, and then I felt sadness, like seeing my daughter growing up, but like I felt joy for, like, yeah, it was just so many things coming up. And yeah, that was the first time that I really noticed that, you know, that it wasn't just like here in this part, you know, like it was just everywhere. Thank you.
Thank you.
Could you transport the joy? Have the people around you realize that you feel joy?
Everyone kind of knew. I mean, it was being held with my friends, like, that are also in this journey, so they knew, like, my process, and, you know, we were communicating it. But I mean, I think my daughter felt it also, you know, and it wasn't like just, yeah, I think so.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
I mean, the feelings practitioners, which is a specialty of possibility management, have found out over a specialty about healing the physical body with the help of the emotional body. And they found out that each feeling has a resonance tissue in our physical body. And for joy, so anger belongs into the bones, that's where it resonates, where it serves its purpose best in our physical body, as an example. And joy really belongs into each, like the core of each cell. And so it makes so sense what you're saying, Crystal, that, you know, it's really feeling it in your whole body. And then it's this radiation that doesn't need a smile. And that's I get an idea of that could be a really great experiment to play with and to practice. How does that go? And I want to say that also, like, if you have any of that, what I called mind fuck, or that thought where that is bad in you, or that you need joy to you need to be happy and to be safe, then you to numb the joy. And Gabriela already mentioned a few strategies, so smiling is one, but also like, how do you numb it would be part of the research. How do you personally numb your joy? Mixing it with fear creates this really, I know about that it creates this really delicious like excitement, and then it goes, it's this kind of energy, like the future, this kind of joy. And I noticed when I started out on my possibility management feelings journey that I couldn't actually, I had experiences in my first ETB and later where the trainers would ask me after I felt a lot of fear or after I felt a lot of anger, and they asked me, so what is this feeling now? And I couldn't name it. I had no word for that. And it was joy, because it was such a different experience from the kind of gremlin loud joy that I experienced before. So to find really the different tastes of joy in your system, to being able to identify joy. And what I really also resonate with what you said, Gabriela, is the I just lost it. Oh, it's just gone. Okay, I'll stop here for now. I'll bring it when it comes back.
I want to share something about this, that during the 333 I discovered that going to the 4 feelings, I'm discovering that the joy for me, it's becoming more a contemplation than really a contemplation with my body. So it's good to have this image now that you are explaining, Crystal, like, because it's becoming more like really a contemplation to stay connected to life, something like that. Yeah. And I think that I numb that in my life because many times, because it seemed that was like I was disconnecting to life, because this state of contemplation is a state of it's not in the rhythm of modern culture to contemplate. And so that's the thing that is coming during these weeks that I'm practicing the 333 three times a week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I just remember the other thing I wanted to say was about how in like my gremlin has also done the negating, not make space for celebration time. So not celebrating the steps that I've taken. So not allowing joy about all these. I mean, I've done huge transformation over the last 7 years and it keeps going. Yeah. And even like just the last 3 months or 4 months, they've been huge. And to celebrate as part of the transformation process and as one part of where the conscious joy is really valuable or necessary even. And I sense there's something, I mean, there is definitely gremlin involved in numbing the joy there and not allowing that. But something also to do about holding my power down. I wonder what something about women and men there. So I'd love to hear from the 2 men in the space about what I say now, and which is that there's something about women suppressing their joy, also very convenient for modern culture.
Could you say a little bit more about this, Yula? Like, what is convenient in that?
Because a woman that's really excited about life and connected to her life juices, and I get a sense that there's also a touch of that goes into almost sexuality, which I don't mean sex, but this connection force to life, to this life force that is dangerous for a patriarchal society. because if women were really connected to that, the pool would be so big to not stay small and to not stay in the, it would be part of the pain of being in patriarchy, that it's like an eruption that, or like such a strong force. It's like the life-giving power, and being aware of that life-giving power is dangerous for a culture that needs this life force to be contained.
Yeah, I want to add something, because my research is touching the joy and the pleasure, not the gremlin pleasure, but the feeling, the sensation in the now of being present, and of enjoying being a human being in the world, and with the trees, with the sea, with the water, with the rain, with, so the pleasure had a connotation, a bad connotation, or a sexual connotation, and it feels like it's not okay to connect these two words, joy and pleasure, because it's not good. So yeah, the sexual energy here, like a vital energy, like a life force. So the core of each cell, when I do the 333 of all four, and in the end is joy, is like a information of my cell, or the cells of this wood is equal. So it's amazing. It's so much pleasure. Yeah, that's my research.
Thank you. Anything about that from it?
It's coming something from what you said, from Marina, you, Yula, and Alexandra. That comes so strong for me about this church footwear, in some way, of this sacrifice. Something like life is sacrifice and joy is not welcome, and this, in some way, of this pleasure also that you mentioned, Alexandra, and the body, like the physical body. So when Crystal said about how you feel in your physical body this sensation, and not just contained here, I could feel in my body how my body is constrict to express, because the body is dirty or not sacred, and this ideal of sacrifice, and also that is in paradise. So we this thought where we are in the earth, in the hell, and the paradise is there, and it's where can feel joy and pleasure, and this feeling of being alive. And yeah, this is coming also for me. And
And
yes,
I want to put a really church thoughtware, religious thoughtware, that's in probably every human being on the planet, or most human beings. Thank you, Gabriela.
yes. And I had the sense that Jen, how can I pronounce your name? Is Jen or Gen?
Gwen.
Jen. Yeah, I had the sense that you
Gwen.
want to say Gwen.
Almost. Gwen, maybe easier.
Gwen.
Okay.
Gwen.
I've experienced that in moments of really hardship in life, that I can reach this inner joy, this adult joy, nevertheless, but that it's very difficult for my gremlin to allow it on those moments. But it's like this inner peace and this center of almost like my soul that's there to tell me there's still joy, and I can connect with it then, but it's hard to allow. And yeah, that's also
Mm.
something like you're not allowed to take that power or to be this being that can be centered when there is so much going on, or when someone is suffering, you should suffer also. That's something that I've experienced.
Mm.
Hmm. Yeah. I'd like to add something, and my connection has been coming in and out, so I apologize if I go over some things that have been discussed already. But I find I resonate with what you brought up originally, Gabriella, about the joy being the space holder quality. It's, for me, it's the joy is what I wake up with, what I carry all the time, and then I'm really keen. Excited about going up in this research, but we can really look at just making good distinction between conscious and unconscious joy, because obviously unconscious joy is just so prolific in our worlds, and in fact there's so much emphasis put on unconscious joy. And I just came out of a lab with Yulia and Yulia, myself, and Millie, another friend. We went for a walk through the bush yesterday into a creek, and that's the thing. And having just come out of a lab 2 days ago, the small now was really, really, for me, I was really living in the small now and walking through the bush and through that natural place. Conscious joy was really, really alive. It was, there was no, I was walking in the small now, exploring in detail the nature around. There was absolutely no time pressure. There was no care about past events or future or anything. And yeah, that was really alive for me with that.
Thank you, Jay.
Thank you.
Actually, there's also this thing in modern society that if you don't have joy, then you're a problem. Yeah, that you need fixing. And yeah, like if in customer service, for instance, if you approach anyone without showing joy, then you're not giving a good service.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's always stories around the grumpy waitress or the angry shopkeeper or these sort of things.
For me, arise the question if a authentic, sad waitress
Yeah,
is
and I
not more easier to relate, or the intimacy is more than a fake happy waitress.
Yeah, great question.
I want to share about that one experiment that I did once in the restaurant. There was these waiters, and the experiment was to make appreciation, not by the service that the waiters was doing, but her being. And then in the end, she was really this stereotype that you bring, Jay, this happy, like doing a good service and this good box, and then I asked it, I want you to do appreciation of your being. Do you accept? And And her box was, what is that? I don't know what is that. And I said, you can discover. Do you want to discover? And then she said, yes. And then I invite her to sit. And she said, no, I will stand up because my boss can think something is weird. I said, okay, so I will stand up. And then I stand up and I was in front of her. And she was still with this smiling that was this not authentic, it was really this fakey smiley forced. And then I started to look in her eyes and connect with this, like this calm down and appreciating her, looking into her eyes and the quality behind of what she was doing. It was not exactly the pizza that she was putting in the table. There was a quality of care and like presence and love in the way that she was doing that. And when I started to appreciate that, I could see the sadness come, and she was like doing that. And I keep going for like more 2 minutes because to make a little bit more space to she. And for a moment it was really like a small gap that she let go this mask go away, and I could connect with her. And was this shift when she accessed the sadness that I could really connect with her because was this mask. So this is when you said that about that, Jay, I remember this experience of this what is really behind of this mask of these customer services or this fake joy. And yeah, this is a possible experiment if you want to try like during the next days also doing that with waiters or a person in the supermarket or a person that is doing a service that you are paying for, and so that they have to make something to you. And yeah.
Yeah, kind of
Yeah.
about keen on. Let's find an experiment now, Gabriela.
Could you say again?
And we
cut a
let's
little bit
go into an experiment now. And I want to, Gabriela and I said we're going to do curtains up. So in this space, there's no secretly talking about things. And I want to check with you, Gabriela, whether this experiment that we wanted to do is still accurate or whether we need a different one. Like, I have a sense that you brought in the possibility of practicing appreciation rather than what I don't know, or what is your sense?
Ooh. From where this space going now, I feel the flow to do the experiment of the appreciation is more alive. I think it would be more my box to fix the experiment that we created before. And yeah.
Follow your impulse.
we're already I love it. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. So are you great in the support, okay, Yula?
What's that?
Are you
The breakout
start
rooms?
Yeah, I will start to bring the experiment, and then you support if you want to add something, okay? So the experiment is we go to breakout rooms in Paris, and for 4 minutes, most of you will not meet each other, I assume. So this is not about knowing the another person. It's more about tapped into. And what I've noticing is that the joy is one of the resource of the appreciation. The conscious joy is one of these resource of tap into of the conscience of this appreciation of the being. And we are used to appreciate the people what they do. So the purpose of this experiment is not what the person have or what the person dress or what the person look like in front of you, but the qualities of her being or his being. And in these 4 minutes, you look into this person and you bring appreciation. And then we shift, and then I tap, and then we appear in the top, and we shift the person. So who receives the appreciation will give the appreciation.
And for the person listening, really let it in, like feel your fear and open your heart and don't speak. Like it's not about a conversation, it's really receiving the appreciation. And I want to add the person, when you're giving appreciation, you know, they're all four feelings have their place in it. And like Gabriela said, my invitation would be to consciously really connect to your joy of seeing this being in front of you and speak from that. So that means also allow yourself the joy of using words you've never used before, making it poetic, using really inventing your own language, making this an experiment where appreciating the other being actually nurtures your own being. Like, so it fills your cup as you fill someone else's cup. So it's more like this movement in the space.
And I feel to add one more thing is sometimes when I did this experiment, I noticed my box coming to be pleasant with the another person or to trying to praise. And there's a distinction between praising and appreciating another person. Praising is a lot of from this place of box or what you believe or your opinions. And it's like, you are adorable person because it's not from this place. It's from this appreciation quality where it's like your presence in this space bring clarity, and this creates this emptiness. It's like a empty cup where you can fill with water or with a juice of orange that is it's juicy, and then you allow really like all your body be in this experience. And I will create breakout rooms, and I want to ask if there's some questions before we be to the another space. No? Okay.
Jay, we can't hear what you're saying.
And he,
Trying to say something.
Not
working.
can you write in the chat?
Maybe your earbud.
I suggest we go in breakout rooms, Gabriela, and
yes.
I can breakout room where Jay is part of until he can join. Yeah, so that there's already, that we don't have to wait.
Okay, so 1 second that I put you in his.
All right.
Okay, super. So
I still have a
it's
question.
Ooh, okay.
Sorry. When we give appreciation, do we get time to just feel before we have to speak? Because I feel like I would like time to just be present first with the other person before I start speaking. Is that okay? Or is it really meant to directly start to give appreciation? I hope it's clear.
Yeah, you can feel it first, and feelings are pretty quick. So it might be that you're trying to figure it out in your head. So the invitation is to speak before you have the information in the mind. Feelings are faster than the mind. And that's an experiment. So feel the fear of that. And the beauty is there's nothing right or wrong that you can do. More about allowing yourself to experience this ecstasy.
Thank you.
I will open the rooms. Is there any questions more? Okay, so see. Ooh, you are the host now.
Oh, why? How did that happen?
Could you make again me host?
Yeah, I'll do that. We discovered prior to this call that both Gabriella and I are really powerful. We can give each other the power. Like giving Gabriella the of being the host, and then she gives me the power of being the co-host, and so we've been pinging powers back and forth.
This is a real example, queen. This is a real example of queen that share the power and flows the power, right? So I open the rooms and we see each other in 8 minutes. I text in the top to change. See you.
See you.
I feel glad and sad that we have 2 minutes left. Anybody need to say anything right now?
I just want to share the magical moment. I felt so much joy about that I was looking in the space and I felt like I want to be in this session with Gwen, and she was my partner, and that was like, wow, that was so cool.
I want to share also that I had the same thing with Crystal. And I think that was my box sharing her. And then I had to go to my being and connecting to her being. It was so special. Yes.
What magic.
Yes.
Say something. I sense that you have something to say, and I would love to hear your voice. Stefan. Yeah.
I mean, me. Okay, I didn't get it. Maybe it was bad transmission. I wanted, to share like the joy it creates when appreciating and being appreciated. That's as well like something of this archetypal king or space holder quality as well that has an origin there. And I wanted still to share like what you were talking about in the beginning, this space holding quality. This helps me to navigate the joy space or to find the origin of joy in some way. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to share that when Aurora was appreciate me, I had the voice that, oh yeah, and your sadness will never be appreciated, and at the same time Aurora comes and appreciate my sadness. So it was magic. Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's time to come to an end, and I've posted the link to our research team Facebook events page. If you want to be in, you can tell us now. You could be yes, and then we would know, or you can sit on it and write to us, get in contact. If you have more questions, let us know. And yeah, I really appreciate you're bringing yourselves in here. It's really deeply nourished me to be in this space with you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Cool.
Yay. Thank you. Bye. I'm living really nourished from here also, from this high level fun and magic space that we created together. And see you next week or in another spaces also. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye.
Gabrielle and Julia. Bye bye.
Bye.